Hello, welcome to March 30th, 2023. My name is Kurt, and this is my daily Good Life meditation video. This is an exercise that I do each and every morning, a little bit after waking up. It's 4:43 a.m. I'm running about 15 minutes late this morning, 20 minutes late maybe. It's because I decided to have a cup of coffee before I got started, something to fuel me up. Been feeling pretty tired of late. The work, having been ill, allergies now kind of got me. I think the coffee helps. Anyway, I do this to make use of the time to think about my life objectives and principles, those which are outlined in my book, Going Alone, and to plan for the coming day. Let's begin. First, a few thoughts about last night and yesterday. Slept all right last night. Woke up feeling pretty good. Slept right till the alarm. I did have one thought that was on my mind that did surface a couple of times in the night, something that happened at work. I should have stopped at quitting time, but I left my computer running, and then I was exhausted, and I saw something come up about half hour after I was done with work, and I should have just left it for today. And I responded, not in the way I would like to. Darn it, I wish I had shut my computer down right at work. So, may have a little bit of consequence as a result of that. Nothing terrible, nothing bad, nothing that I'll even remember in a year. I've had so many moments like that in my career that I've done or said something, that would have been better if I'd thought about it a little more. But anyway, it unsettled me and upset my entire evening last night as a result. I went for, my long beach walk with my wife afterwards, and she could tell, and I was like, she asked me about it, and I told her, explained to her what happened, and it felt good to have talked about it. It's good to have someone to talk things over with, and thank you, Yumiko, for being perceptive. I can't hide my mood. I'm not very good at putting on a front, especially so silly as it was. Not even an important matter. Otherwise, a good day yesterday. Good day of work. I have one thing I should have done that I forgot to do. I'll try to do it this morning. Maybe I can get it done in time. I'll try. Anyway, let's do the good life. My 7 objectives are as follows. First, I want to be always ready to die. I want to have my affairs, my relationships, and my life's work in order. 2, I want to make good and effective use of my time, to not let my days be wasted. 3, I want to work on my life objectives and principles, these 7 and 34 that I'm reciting right now. Tinker with them every day. And I do. 4, I want to cultivate good emotional reactions so that I can become someone who reacts well to difficult circumstances. Like yesterday, I was not in a good internal mood, and I think I reacted well insofar as I kept it to myself. Now my wife could see through me, so she solicited my explanation and input, or explanation and conversation on that matter. But I did manage my emotions, and that's the goal of that objective. Next is to perform good actions, just to do good things. And number 6 is to recognize my true limits and my true opportunities so that I'm not extending myself beyond the scope of reach, and instead attending to things within my field of capacity. My field of, I didn't want to say reach again, but reach. Number 7 is to do just one thing at a time and do that thing slowly and deliberately and carefully. Now for the 34 principles. Number 1 is the principle of war. To always be fighting against things that I think are true and that come my way that are proposed or seem to be wanting to be held as truth. 2 is reason and the sub-principles of honesty, objectivity, doubt, and humiliation, which is the frame of mind and the attitude that I want to have in examining the world, and especially in performing the aforementioned war. 3, the homunculus, a reminder that I do not seem to have a soul. I don't think that's a real thing, but I do have a consciousness. 4 is the homunculus, the anchor hold, which is the home of the homunculus, the home of the little man inside me, my consciousness, which lives right here in my body. and will not escape my cooling corpse. Will die with me as soon as my consciousness winks out and my body dies. Just a good remember and a reminder that there is no forever in terms of who I am. Next is the home of good and evil. Right and wrong are subjective opinions that reside in our minds. They don't exist out there in the universe on their own. Next is purpose. My 3 purpose are: 1, to be a good husband and father; 2, to be a virtuous man, where virtue is defined as performing activities in the pursuit of the improvement of the well-being of thinking creatures. There's a mouthful. 3 is to pursue whatever personal objective I have, purpose I have in life, which is, for me, the sharing and the marketing of my book, Going Alone. Next is the atomic principle. Everything is made of bits and pieces, falling to pieces, including you and me. And then the principle of nature. Everything and everyone have a particular nature, and it's good to recognize that, what that is, so we can live in accord with it. And then the pirate ride. Life is lived with, we seem to have free will, but I don't think we do. We are compatible with what's happening around us in the universe. We are jostled and guided and pushed, so to speak, with by the circumstances and events unfolding around us, and all the way back to the start of time. The interesting thing to consider, and that our will is more of a decision engine, always deciding in the direction of what I guess could be summed up as least resistance. No free will. Next is the principle of maturity, which has 3 sub-principles: wisdom, fortitude, and integrity. Wisdom is what we do when we remember our successes and failures in the past, and then use fortitude to do better in the future. Integrity is the yield, the result of that effort, where our lives, our actions, our consequence are in better alignment with our values. Then comes the social principle. We're social creatures, we need each other. The sub-principles here are diplomacy, justice, conspiracy, working together towards definitions, mutually agreed definitions of justice, conspiring towards those ends in a positive way. Then comes the principle of family, a reminder to create a nucleus of people that are our people. And then public speaking, a reminder to cultivate a mind that can communicate well, listen and communicate well, cultivating a good vocabulary to use judiciously and carefully, to develop what's the word? I forgot now. It's a word for it. It's so funny that I say that just after I talk about having a good vocabulary. I know the word, I just can't remember it. It's the word that refers to being able to filter our emotions. Prudence, that's it. Prudence, the ability to filter our, not emotions, filter our communication through our values. Felicity, adding the seasoning of emotion. Literature, which is the foundation of good language. Eloquence, something to be modeled and practiced. And then to avoid spreading rumors and to avoid engaging in gossip. Then comes, what is next? I guess it's distraction. We distract ourselves. Is that right? Is that right? Yeah. Distraction. What we do to remind ourselves that, or to tell ourselves that, what we do to mask the apparent emptiness of the universe, the fact that it seems that there is no God. I shouldn't say fact. The apparent lack of God. keep ourselves busy with all throughout our lives with other things, so we don't have to see that, and then have to face down the awful, challenging, weighty responsibility of doing life ourselves. And then the next principle, called the great indifference, is what I label that emptiness of the universe, the thing we don't want to see, the thing we distract ourselves from. Then comes temperance, controlling our consumption. And the sub-principles here are suffering, because we suffer when we tell ourselves no; simplicity, because a simple life is a temperate life; and apathy, the ability to apply indifference to the things that are beyond our reach, or beyond our willed scope. Interesting way to think about it. That I hadn't thought about it that way before. Something new. Okay, then comes life will not go well, and it won't. Then the horror show, life is horrific at times, and it's coming for all of us. And then that which must be borne, B-O-R-N-E, and what we have to bear in life is the fact of the horror show and that life will not go well. And then the feast of woeful, the ability to control our upset, to contain our emotions and to not spew them out onto others and suffer them with our waste, nor likewise to consume the waste of others when they give up their grievous upset into the world. Then comes the best seat in the house, to be all right with who I am and where I am and what I'm doing, all the while striving for improvement. It's a strange juxtaposition, or not juxtaposition, but strange duality to have at the same time. That's it, duality. Then comes the restless man, that period of youth when we begin to want something more. And if we step onto a new life, in the direction of a new life, step away from our safe and sane, we enter the path of wildness, the next principle, which leads us into a great life adventure, which is the resultant consequence of the courage that it took to step away. And then that adventure becomes our story and part of who we are and our identity. Then comes the risk of avoiding risk, the balance between too much courage and too little, and being able to broker a life of adventure with a life of security. Tough thing to do. And then after that comes sin and damnation. The 8 sins in my world are falsity, being untrue; credulity, believing things too readily; faith, belief founded on belief; superstition, nonsense; dogma, belief founded upon tradition and maybe a great, some sort of a canonical text; authority, belief founded on charisma or institution seems to be the word that comes to mind. Interesting, I'm pushing things in new directions this morning, struggling for words as a result. I like that. And then finally the last two are rumor and gossip. The consequence of these 8 sins is damnation in the here and now, where we are a damned liar or a damned fool or a damned rumor-mongering gossip. They need to change that last bit. It shouldn't be rumor-mongering gossip. They don't have to happen together. Or a damned rumor or gossip. There you go. Damned rumor or gossip. Next is complete oblivion. After death, if we have no soul and there is no God, then that means that we're gone forever. There'll be no happy reunion with our loved ones. Well, there'll be no chance to reconcile differences, and there'll be no final justice, because death is a permanent state of nothing, beyond nothing. Next comes the season of philosophy, a time to record our ideas as we move forward in life. And then the principle of script writing, writing out our moments ahead of us, the minutes, the hours, the days. And then the bullseye aim, a reminder that we should expect to miss the mark and be delighted when we hit it, not the other way around. And then the uphill climb, hoping and striving to finish the day with a greater view and vista than we had yesterday. Arena and utility. Life is an arena for the development of objectives and principles that help us to live better. Nothing is enough. An admonition towards a simple life. And then finally, the principle of fun, a reminder to try to have a good time today and remember the good times of yesterday and plan for the good times of tomorrow. Okay, I made it through the creed. Now let's plan for the day. I have a lot of meetings today. I'll finish this, upload this, type out my words, do my Bible, read my Bible, read or edit one page of Freeway Bible Study, and then I'll feed the dogs, let them out, and then begin my day in earnest, and I'll plug away and push through. It's a tough day ahead. I can do it. Nothing extraordinary beyond that. And then I'll finish the day with my guitar, a nice dinner with my wife, and then bed. And that's it. I wish you all the best. Be safe, but not too safe. And with that, my life is done, if not finished. Take care.